everybody. I hope that you're all doing well. I am very excited for today's video. I am making a video that has been one of my favorite videos to watch for a long time now. And that is, as you can tell, a neighborhood gossip video. I mentioned that I wanted to make one of these a couple of videos ago, and I was like, I don't know, other artists have done it before me, and like that's like not Maria, oh my gosh, Mary Southern ASMR sounds like that's like her thing. I was like, I don't want to like be a biter, but the good thing about, I just used the word biter. Anyway, you know what I mean. And so I was like, I don't know if I should do it, but the good thing about YouTube is that we kind of all like feed off of each other's ideas. So I will link my favorite Mary neighborhood gossip video down below. It's like years old. I still watch it sometimes to this day. And other artists have done it too. I know Grace V started doing a couple, and I think there's someone else that I cannot put my finger on right now, but a couple of other artists have done it, and I love it every single time. And so here we are. We are going to do one. It's basically going to be a whisper ramble about like my neighbors and what's going on my street, which isn't a whole lot, but we'll just see where this video goes. I don't know. I am going to chew some gum, like in my last storytime video. A couple months ago, I did a story time about like every job I've ever had, and I chewed gum, and people really liked it. I'm not like an obnoxious chewer. Like I do it very subtly, so if you're not into like the mouth sounds and like the lip smacking and all that, I think you'll be okay, because I'm not into that either. But I just do it for like an extra little something, so I think it's the same gum too. Polar ice is the way to go. Anyway, I really hope this section of the lighting isn't too bright. I don't know why it looks so white right there. Let me see if I can fix that. 1 second. Okay, I think it looks a little less intense, right? I hope. Alright, we're just gonna make sure my camera stays focused on me, and then we can get started. So, to paint the scene for you, I live on a cul-de-sac. If you don't know what a cul-de-sac is, it's essentially like a dead end. So, you drive down my street, and when you get to the end, it's like a circle. It goes around. So, this is the street, houses on either side, and then when you get to the circle, there are houses around the circle. That's a cul-de-sac, which is really nice because not a lot of traffic noises, which makes my life so easy when it comes to filming ASMR videos, because you never realize how loud the world is until you need quiet, and then there's no quiet just doesn't exist. Move this a little closer to me. Okay. So yeah, we don't have a lot of traffic noises. If you've been with me for a long time, you may remember that I used to live in an apartment building on a super busy street. There was always like someone yelling in the street. There were always motorcycles and ambulances, and just like, I was down the block from a school, and it was just so noisy, and I would film at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I don't miss that. But anyway, we're digressing. So, we've lived here. This will be our 4th summer here. But we've been here for 3 years in June. we've gotten to know people decently well. We don't know everyone. Like, I know there is a woman who lives at the very end of the cul-de-sac. She lives in like one of the biggest houses on the street. And she would go during quarantine. She was pregnant. She would go on a walk every evening at like 5. And I would see her every day. Just go back and forth. And then one day I saw her and she was doing it, but she was doing it pushing a stroller because she had given birth to the baby. And I was like so invested in that, but I have no idea who she is. Nice little blonde lady. We don't really know them. I would say we know like 4 houses. Like literally the 4 houses around us, I'd say we know decently well. Most we get along with, one we do not, which we will get into. So across the way, like diagonally across the way, we have new neighbors. Like 3 months new, 2 or 3 months. The people that lived there prior there was a woman and her son. I think he was 19 years old, or so, 19 or 20, a little younger than me. And their dog Lola, this like medium size, she kind of looked like a cockapoo sort of deal. Her name was Lola. Such a good girl. They never walked her on a leash. And for the most part she would behave, but the woman, and we knew her. My mom knew her decently. She had come over here a couple times to like hang out with my mom. She was nice, very nice woman. But she was loud. Like, I remember one day, it was like a weekend, and I wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning to go to work, and she was in my house until 3:15 in the morning. Like, she was still there when I woke up. And I remember I slept for like an hour that night because they were so loud. But she was a good time. She liked to have a good time. You know, they had some wine, they were hanging out, whatever. But what always would make me laugh was like during the week when I was up late or like on my days off, I would always hear her walking the dog, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I would just hear, because my window was like almost directly across the street from that house. So I would always hear at 2 o'clock in the morning, Lola, Lola. Because they never put her on a leash, and sometimes homegirl would just want to go for a walk by herself and not come home. So I don't miss that. That was like almost all the time I would hear Lola. So I always knew when it was time for Lola to go potty. The son was very quiet. I think I had maybe one conversation with him once when we were walking our dogs at the same time. He was very quiet, but he was nice. So they have since moved away, as it was too much of a big house for just 2 of them, I think. So I don't live here anymore, and we have new neighbors. We have not met them face to face. It's a husband and a wife and a baby. She looks maybe like she's 2 or 3 years old. She's like walking around. She's like a little tiny thing. And yeah, we have not met them face to face. When they moved in, we left a bottle of champagne and a card on their front porch, you know, with our names and our address, so they knew like which house it was coming from. And that was just like a welcome to the neighborhood type of deal. And they sent one back. They put a card in our mailbox and, you know, said thank you. And, you know, they said when, you know, COVID is less of a thing, and then, you know, we look forward to hanging out with you, getting to know you, whatever. I have no idea really what they look like. I've only seen them from afar, so I don't know. I don't know how old they are. But yeah, I guess with like COVID related things, I guess you can't really just show up at someone's house that you don't know, because you don't know how people are going to react to that. So those are the new people. So far they're very quiet. I think they have a dog as well, so no complaints. Behind our house, so we have like a weird thing where our backyard is like attached attached to someone's front yard. Like we have like a row of trees, kinda, but we can very easily see their front door, and they can see like into our kitchen at night. So we have like a patio door. Turn the light on, you could literally see right into our house. So they are nice. So it's I was about to say his name. We'll call him A. A lives there with his husband. It's just the two of them. I don't believe they have a dog. Yeah, I don't think they do. But they're very nice. I would say that was one of like the first people we became very friendly with. And by we, I mean my mom, because she talks to everyone. And he lives there with his husband. He pretty much works from home now, like 7 days a week. And he even said, like, even after COVID and things start to go back to somewhat normal, he'll still probably work from home because he loves it and they're allowing him to do so. So he's got that going for him. But his husband, I don't know how much like information to give. His husband is from another country, and during COVID, mind you, I have never met his husband. I literally, I think I've seen the back of his head once. 3 years of living here, which I always thought was so strange. Like as a joke, I would always say to like my family, like, I wonder if his husband really exists. Like, you know, 'cause I literally would never see him. And every time A would come over, he would come over by himself. Like no husband. His husband was invited, but it was just him. I always thought that was so strange. But then one day when I wasn't home, my family met him, and I was like, oh, okay, he exists. But during like the height of COVID, he went home to visit his family, and A, obviously had to stay home, 1 for work, 2 to like look after the house. And his husband was gone for like months, and I felt so bad. Like he was literally alone, like almost 24/7. Like I think he has family like not that close from here, but or not that far from here, but literally like a height of pandemic, he was by himself for a long time. So we would like try to, you know, invite him over. Like I don't think I would want to leave my husband during the middle of a pandemic. Like I would want to stay with him, 1 to make sure he's okay, and 2 because I would miss him. You know, I don't know. I always thought that was kind of weird, but whatever. To each their own. I guess they were okay with it. But it's funny. Like, still to this day, like the husband's here now, but I don't see him. Every time I look out the window, it's A that's doing yard work and A that's like getting things done around the house, and I'm like, that's so weird to me. I don't know. But again, to each their own. His husband is a hairdresser, so, you know, I'm sure he's like back to work now, whatever, so whatever works for them. I remember over the summer, you guys remember if you're on the East Coast, the big hurricane we had. What was the hurricane? What was the name? Isaias. It was in July, I believe. And we had no power for like 5 days, and everything in our house, like our stove is electric, like everything, they had a gas stove. So I remember one day they came over the day of, like the day that it hit, the day that we lost power, and we were outside for like 3 hours just cleaning up trees and branches, and it was ridiculous. And his husband actually made us dinner. And it was like food from like his country. It was so good. Oh, it was like authentic. It was so good. And he made it for us. He didn't bring it over. He did. But they packed it up in Tupperware and they brought it over, and it was still warm, and so the husband, he got some points from me for that, because that was really nice. Whether it was his idea or A's, I guess we'll never know, but like, he still cooked the food, so much appreciated. So yeah, so they're behind us. It's funny because A is a talker, so like if he sees us hanging out in the backyard, he'll just walk right up and be like, hey. And it's like a lot, like we, of course we're like not gonna be rude, we're like, hey, how are you? But man, he will stay and talk for hours, and I always say it's because he's lonely, because I feel like he's always alone. So we kind of like feel bad. You can't like kick him out, but it's like, dang, I have other things to do, sir. So like sometimes if I see them out there and I see he's out there, I won't go outside, because then I'll be trapped for like an hour. There was one day, it was like maybe our second summer year. I was not home, but my mom and my stepdad were out in the yard just like laying out in the sun. They like to do that, like to get some sun, some tanning going on. And my mom is like straight up in like a two-piece, but she's not comfortable with like in public she'll wear a one-piece, but at home it's our backyard, so she doesn't care. So she's like in a two-piece. My stepdad rolls his swim trunks up so that it like almost looks like a Speedo, because he wanted to like tan his legs a little bit. And A just straight up walks up like into the backyard and it's like, hey. And my mom was like, hi. Like she was wearing a bathing suit, and also he's gay, so he's not like interested in what she looks like, but it was just funny. Like that's one of my favorite stories. I wish I was here for that. And she was like talking to him like, hey, like grasping for her shirt in the background. Oh, I wish I was here for that. That's so funny. But yes, that is the happy couple that lives behind us, and they're very nice. I hope to meet the husband at some point before I move out. I want to know what he looks like. But yeah, so that is them. Now, I'll talk briefly about the people right next door. There's not much to say about them, like gossip-wise, and they know how to party. Like, okay, so to set the scene for you, they have the nicest backyard I have ever seen in my life. They have a full-on like a bar with like a roof. It's like a little hut. It has lights on the bar. It has a flat screen TV in it. And they have a separate bar that is like, it has like a grill. It's a grill, but it has like bar stools on the other side, so you can sit there too. Their pool, we don't have any of this, mind you, if you're thinking like that's the kind of neighborhood this is. No. Like we have a nice backyard, but there's no pool, he put a lot of work into his house. I think he's lived here for a long time. His pool has like a fountain in it, like, shoots up water like that. I think it has lights in it too. It's like a freaking resort next door. Like if this window was open, it would be right there. Like I could see it from here. They have like lounge chairs. It's nice. It's nice. I'm a fan of backyards that, like, they do have grass, but the main attraction, like where the pool and the bars are, is like concrete, and I like that. I'm a fan of that. And so all summer long, like every Friday, every Saturday, they have people over. I think I went over for the first time last Memorial Day. They do like a big, I guess like kickoff to the summer party. It was fun, I'm not gonna lie, it was a lot of fun. They were like making clams and like a whole bunch of things on the grill, and any kind of alcohol you could think to ask for. Like crazy. It's like almost intimidating. Makes my life hard sometimes during the summer because it stays bright outside until like 9:30, almost 10 o'clock in the summer, and so they party well into the hours of the morning. And you guys know my work schedule, so sometimes it's hard. But I mean, what are you gonna do? They're in their yard, they're in their space, doing their thing. He's got a few kids wife, so they're not here all the time. And then he has a second wife who's like a young, pretty, not that young, but like pretty Brazilian woman. Like she's very pretty, she's very nice, she's very outgoing. She's like, oh, she's a lot. I'm not gonna lie, she's a lot, but she's nice. If it's who I'm thinking of, I think so, yeah. I met a lot of people that day when I went, so it's kind of confusing. So yeah, honestly, not much to say about them, but they're really nice neighbors to have, and they're always like, come over, like, come hang out. They even once were like, oh, we're going away on vacation for the week, but like, if you want to use the pool, like, go on over. Things like that, which I don't know if I would ever say that to anybody, like, trusting anybody on my property when I'm, like, on vacation. I don't know about that, but it was very nice of them. So yeah, they're a good time, very like generous, very like welcoming, just all around good people. You go across the street, different story, like right across the street. So across the street there's a house that I don't want to say, this is gonna sound mean. The only reason I'm saying it is because it's the oldest house on the block and no work has been done to it, so it almost kind of looks like it doesn't belong, and it looks like a little, I really don't mean that in a mean way. That even sounded gross coming out of my mouth. I don't mean it that way, but it looks, the reason I say it is because it looks like a little log cabin, kind of. It just looks different, and it's smaller, and it's hidden behind a lot of trees. And so she, I think out of everyone on the block, from what people are saying, now we're getting into the actual gossip part. From what people have said, she has been here the longest out of everyone on this block, and so she probably misses it the way that it used to be, however it used to be, I don't know. She is a very angry, scary person. And like, I do know a bit of her life story. I'm not gonna go into that because that's super personal. Like, I would never put someone's, even though you don't know who she is, but I would never put that like on the internet. That's, you know, not my business to share. But you know, she's been through it. I will say that. And she's also a veteran, so there's that as well. So she has, I think, little elements of like PTSD here and there from that. But she's just not nice, and we tried guys for so long to like be social and, you know, nice to her, and we have since given up. Let's just say that. We don't associate, we don't communicate. I don't even wave at her when I see her outside. It's for the best. She has a lot of problems with Maya, our dog. If you don't know, I have a little Shih Tzu. This big, it's the sweetest little thing ever. She has a problem with her barking. Maya doesn't bark a lot, but when she does, Maya has a very loud bark to the point where she almost howls. And it's funny how that little sound comes out of such a large body. And so, you know, during the summertime when the windows are open or the door is open, if she barks, you can hear it out on the street. But it's not even like she's outside, she's in our home, on our property. And I'm gonna call her Jay. Jay has given us a lot of issues with her. So I will give you an example. There was one day, this was like 2 years ago, it was springtime. I remember it was a day off. I was filming videos and my window was open. Maya was on my bed. I'm changing, getting ready to film, and Jay has a friend. She has this very weird friend come over. That's a whole other topic of conversation, but he's always there. So she started barking at the window, and I hear from the street in Jay's voice, "Shut that effing dog up." And I like thought I heard it, but I was like, no, like that wouldn't have, like, this is before I knew how like mean she really was. I was like, no, she wouldn't have said that, right? Like, no. And then I hear it again, "Shut that effing dog up, effing inconsiderate people, blah 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 blah," like starts going off. And I was like, no way. So you know me, so I walked to my window, put the blind all the way up, and I just stood there and I looked at her. And she was in her car at this point, and she had reversed out of her driveway, so the passenger side of her car is facing my window. She's right in front of my window, and I'm looking at her, and she looks at me, and she bangs her horn and just holds it down. She held it down for, I would say, a solid 10 seconds minimum, like a long time. She just held it down and was just like looking at me, and we had like a little stare off, kind of. And then I was like, you know what, I'm not doing this. So I rolled down my blinds, and I just left it. I know that, I don't know, I have a feeling, had I not been home alone, I probably would have gone outside and I would have said something. But because I was home alone, and I know she's, I'm not gonna say crazy, but she's not very nice. And the little boy toy that she has with him, he sketches me out. I see him standing on the block, and like someone will pull up and they do a little exchange. I don't know. I just don't trust. I definitely don't trust him, and I don't trust her either anymore. So I knew I was home alone, so I wasn't gonna go outside by myself. But I was so mad. I was so mad, and her reasoning is back to like the PTSD thing, which I don't have that. I've never experienced it, so I'm not gonna talk like I know what it's like. Her argument for that is because we have another dog that's like a big dog that he barks, and she doesn't have a problem with it. So she says it's the smaller dogs have like a higher pitched bark, which is true, but like, are we discriminating against like small dogs? Like, she's in our house. It's not even like she's in the yard. She's in the house. Like, I'm sorry, I have my window open, and it was also like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, I don't know. And she was leaving. She was driving away. So like, what? It still gets me like really upset when I think about it. I also know that she drinks a lot, and listen, again, I guess when you're going through stuff, you gotta do what you gotta do. I don't know. But she drinks a lot. She makes a lot of, she leaves the house. I watch her drive away. She'll come back 10 minutes later, so she just runs to the store and like buys her stuff. I don't know. So we don't associate. I'm just sure she's a nice person, or she was at one point, and she's just been through some stuff, but we just kind of keep our distance. But anyway, I can see my camera battery flashing, so that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about anyway. So thank you to those of you who told me to do this video, and thank